Hi, my name is FIN675A. Before we dive in, allow me to give a brief introduction to the topic. Retirement planning is an important part of personal finance, especially in a changing economic and demographic environment like Malaysia. In FIN675, we study retirement strategies such as estimating future saving needs, managing inflation, and building diversified investment portfolios. The course also covers the role of government policies, particularly the Employees Provident Fund or EPF, as well as ethical issues in pension management. By combining theory with real-world case studies, FIN675 equips students with practical tools to manage retirement risk and achieve long-term financial security. Next, let's move to the next slide.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nurusniza. Let's start with sample A. Izlin binti Muhammad, a 49-year-old nurse and government servant with 26 years of service. Her net monthly income is 7,237.21. She's married with 6 dependents and plans to retire at 55 age while securing healthcare with SOCSO and private insurance. She has 180,215 ringgit 66 cent in external savings, assuming 500 inflation, 5% salary growth, and 7% return. This profile highlights her stable public sector position, setting up a defined benefit pension. Next, we will project her income. Moving to her projected pension income under the government scheme, annual pensionable final APF is RM 154,398,000.90 ringgit. Her present value is RM 787,454 ringgit and 87 over 60 years post-retirement. This creates an initial surplus when compared to needs, but we will add gratuity and savings later.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Amalin Sofia. I will be continuing our presentation by diving into technical breakdown of Izlin retirement plan, specifically focusing on how we estimate her needs and how those needs compare to her total project asset. To begin with section 2.1.3, we must establish Izlin's financial target for the first day of her retirement. Based on her current annual income of RM 86,846 and 52 cents, and a projected growth rate of 5% over the next 6 years, her final annual salary is estimated to reach RM 160,382 and 43 cents. However, Izlin aims for a 16% replacement ratio of her last gross salary to support her yearly retirement lifestyle, which brings her first year income requirement to RM 69,829 and 46 cents. To fund a 20 years retirement horizon, we utilize the capital liquidation approach. By factoring in a 7% expected return on investment and a 3% inflation rate, we have determined that Izlin requires a total lump sum of RM 1 million and 1,001,472 to be fully funded at the point of retirement. Next, looking at 20-year cash flow summary, we can see how that RM 1,01,472 lump sum actually perform over time as a sustainable fund. In year 1, she start with the full balance, withdraw her initial RM 69,829 and the remaining balance earn a 7% return of RM 65,215, leaving an ending balance of RM 996,858. It is important to note that the annual income column increased by 3% every year, maintain her purchasing power against inflation. By the time she reached year 20, even though her required annual withdrawal has grown to RM 122,446, the fund successfully support her throughout the entire period, leaving a small remaining safety buffer of RM 20,767. Finally, in section 2.1.4, we bring everything together to determine her final retirement outlook. Initially, when comparing her projected pension income of RM1,123,546 against her calculated needs of RM1,001,472, she already experienced a baseline surplus of RM122,074. However, she is also eligible for additional financial buffers, including a retirement gratuity of RM226,764 and personal savings that are projected to grow to RM270,452. When we recalculate the gap with all these resources include, EZLIN total net surplus reached RM619,219. In conclusion, EZLIN binti Mohammed does not face a retirement shortfall, and this significant positive gap provides her with substantial security for healthcare, travel, or inheritance. That's all from me. Thank you.
Next, we move to sample B. Sample B is Nurasham binti Muhammad Johar, a 25-year-old auditor in private sector with 4,000 monthly income, and her expenses is 2,250. Her goals include home or car purchased under EPF defined contribution.
Next, I will explain the Project Employees Providence Fund or EPF income at retirement. The objective of this calculation is to estimate how much EPF savings will accumulate by the time the individual reaches retirement age. The individual is 25 and plans to retire at 55, giving a 30-year investment period. Assuming a 5% annual EPF return, annual income 48,000 ringgit, EPF contribution which is 23%, 11,040 ringgit per year. The future value of all 30 years of contributions is 770,159 ringgit and 12 cents. The existing EPF balance of 23,040 ringgit grows to 99,577 ringgit and 55 cents. Combined, the total project EPF at retirement is 869,736 ringgit and 67 cents. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, and my name is Muhammad Hafiz, and today I will explain the estimation of retirement needs for Sample B, who represents a private sector employee under the EPF system. Currently, Sample B has monthly expenses of RM2,250 ringgit, which include daily necessities such as food, transportation, and lifestyle costs. When adjusted to an annual basis, this amounts to RM27,000 per year. However, due to inflation, future expenses will not remain the same. We apply an inflation rate of 3% over a period of 30 years until retirement at age 55. After adjusting for inflation, the estimated annual expenses at retirement increased significantly to RM65,537 ringgit and 10 cents per year. Sample B is expected to spend approximately 20 years in retirement. Therefore, the total retirement fund required is calculated by multiplying the annual retirement income by the retirement period. As a result, the estimated retirement fund needed for Sample B is RM1,310,742. This amount represents the minimum fund required for Sample B to maintain her current lifestyle during retirement without financial difficulty. In this slide, I will compare Sample B's projected retirement income with her estimate retirement needs. Based on EPF projections, Sample B is expected to accumulate a total EPF balance of RM869,736.67 cents at retirement. This amount is assumed to be used over a 20-year retirement period. When we compare this projected retirement income to the required retirement fund of RM1,310,742, ringgit, we can clearly observe a shortfall. The retirement gap is calculated by subtracting the retirement needs from the projected EPF balance. The result shows a retirement deficit of Rm 441,005.33. This significant shortfall indicates that relying solely on EPF contributions is insufficient to support Samples B retirement lifestyle. Without additional saving investment or alternative income sources, Sample B may face financial challenges during her retirement years. Therefore, this analysis highlights the importance of early financial planning and proactive retirement strategies, especially for private sector employees.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Haikal and I'm gonna continue the presentation with critical comparison. In section 4.1, we evaluate the fundamental trade-off between Malaysia's two primary retirement system. We compare Sample A, a government servant under a defined benefit plan, and Sample B, a private sector auditor under the EPF defined contribution plan. Sample A, government pension. For Sample A, the primary advantage is extreme stability. EZLIN is guaranteed a monthly payout of 6,272 for life, transferring all investment risk to the government. Furthermore, she benefits from zero-cost healthcare for herself and her family, removing a massive variable cost from her retirement budget. However, the disadvantages are significant. She faces a lack of immediate liquidity as there is no large pot of money to settle major debts early. She is also in a fixed income trap. Without automatic cost of living adjustment, inflation acts as a hidden tax that erodes her purchasing power over time. Finally, she faces macro risk as an aging population makes the national pension scheme increasingly unsustainable. Turning to Sample B, the main advantage is capital flexibility. Noraisha will receive a projected lump sum of nearly 870,000 ringgit, allowing for major financial moves like paying off a mortgage. Unlike the fixed pension, her funds benefit from dividend compounding, which historically helps saving fight back against inflation. Additionally, she has choice and quality in medical support as she can use EPF saving for private insurance via iLindung. The disadvantages, however, are high. Her stability is precarious. Mismanagement of her lump sum could lead to complete financial exhaustion. She bears a high cost burden for post-retirement medical care, where a single surgery could wipe out her funds. Ultimately, she faces longevity risk, the danger of outliving her money, which our report identifies as a severe risk for her current profile. Moving to section 4.2, which is highlight potential shortfalls or surpluses in retirement funds. For Sample A, a government servant benefits from a defined benefit pension that provides strong income stability. Even when relying only on her monthly pension, she already records a retirement surplus of 122,074 ringgit. When her retirement gratuity and accumulated savings are included, her total surplus rises significantly to 619,290 ringgit. This places her in a very strong financial position. In contrast, Sample B relies solely on the EPF defined contribution scheme. A projected EPF balance of 869,736 ringgit and 67 cents falls well short of the 1.31 million ringgit required for a 20-year retirement. This creates a significant retirement gap of 441,005 ringgit and 33 cents and exposes her to high longevity risk. Without early intervention, she may face financial difficulty. For recommendations, for Sample A, EZLIN's mentions already exceeds her inflation-adjusted retirement needs. Given her conservative profile and proximity to retirement, the focus shifts from growth to surplus optimization and protection. By consistently investing her surplus into PRS and low-risk funds, she can further strengthen her financial buffer while safeguarding against rising medical costs. In contrast, Sample B faces a substantial retirement deficit that requires urgent action. Her long investment horizon allows for an aggressive growth strategy centered on equities and ETF. By increasing savings, automating contributions, and securing proper protection, she can gradually close the retirement gap and improve long-term financial resilience.
In conclusion, the comparison between the public pension and private EPF schemes highlights distinct paths towards retirement adequacy. Sample A, Islin, is in a highly secure financial position with a total retirement surplus ringgit. Her strategy should focus on protecting this wealth through defensive investment and comprehensive medical insurance to guard against inflation. Conversely, Sample B for Nuraisha faces a critical shortfall of 441,005 ringgit 33 cents. Due to her young age, she has a vital opportunity to close this gap by adopting aggressive growth strategies such as increasing voluntary EPF contributions and diversifying into private retirement schemes (PRS). Ultimately, relying on a single mandatory scheme is no longer sufficient. Achieving financial independence requires proactive planning, early safety nets, and a balanced investment portfolio to ensure resilience against economic volatility. That's all from me. Thank you.